Hello, and I'm back for another part of this Q&A. I've had some great questions written in, so that's what we're going to do today. Let's see here. Let's go to my questions. What to say to ourselves as we accept the strength and the contribution of being an HSP, highly sensitive person, or empath? What to say to ourselves as we accept the strength and contribution of being a highly sensitive person. Now, just recognizing that, everything's context, right? So we live in a world that is about conquest and power over. And a lot of those values have been in place for a long time. We're currently undergoing a cultural revolution of sorts, looking at all the government structures and all the things that have not really been working for everyone. And so it's an interesting question to have, that in the context of this world, going deep here, why would you be born into a world that didn't value your qualities, where you would have to fight to be and exist and be validated? And what comes to mind is, here we are in the Aries time. And I always think of the image for Aries is almost like, like the ground is so hard, at least where I live, it's cold, it's a snowstorm right now. And yet the daffodils and the tulips insist on coming up, and they just push up through that frozen dirt. I don't know how they do it. And then it all snows on them. And they just, the sun comes out and it's like water off a duck's back. They're like, yep, I'm built tough. And yet they're so beautiful, and they're flowers. So you think of them as delicate. And so I think inside every empath or highly sensitive person whose nerves are kind of get rubbed raw a little bit by reality is someone who has this strength of perception that is really needed right now. This is a world that, there are people in this world that don't have a lot of perception. They're like, I can't see clearly. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And then there's you, who has this perception. You have this fine-tuned ability to just look at things and give wisdom about those things. Because if you don't have perception, it's like hard to be wise, isn't it? And so a lot of this is sort of a test of strength of character, I think, for a lot of people who have this development. Because, it's such a crude world in a lot of ways. And there are a lot of harsh experiences that people have and that this world presents. So it's not, not for the faint-hearted. And as an empath or HSP, you are not weak. You are finely tuned. And so maybe you can see it that way, that your wiring is just, it's very, you have big ears to hear things that other people don't hear. You have sight to see things that other people don't see. And so beginning to value what that is for you and have it not be something that's working against you, that's an abuse. Because sometimes when you're growing up, especially when you're really open and you're little, you're taking in everything from everybody around you, and it just feels so harsh. And you feel like this is a punishment to be this sensitive. I don't care for this ability. But again, and I said this in the last video, where would the world be without the sensitivity of perception that allows artists to write things, sing things, to paint beautiful things, that the rest of the world wants to enjoy? So there's a level of perception that is very much a gift. So maybe you can just acknowledge that who you are is a gift. It's not easy sometimes, but you are a gift. How important is it to limit toxic people? That's a loaded question, isn't it, for all the empaths? Um, so, one of the things that we are training in as empaths is how to not take on energy that doesn't belong to us. What do I mean by that? If we're all one. So each of us has our own ego structure and our own soul goals and all of that. And so there are going to be self-generated creations. There are going to be things that you came here specifically to experience, to create, that come from you, from your inner self. And then there are going to be things generated from other people, mass thought forms, what I call a psychic smog, which is it's sort of the negativity. It's like thunderclouds of negativity that are around, where you just catch the wave and you're just suddenly going down this dark rabbit hole and you don't know how you got there. If that's not your rabbit hole, don't jump in. That's the task of the empath. If it's not yours, don't go for it. Your energy and your life force are precious, and you don't owe toxicity anything. Let me say that again. You don't owe a toxic energy in the world anything. You owe yourself, because you were born to live this life and live it well and explore your potential. That's what we're here doing, giving our gifts. That's what we're doing. We're living. And so possibly you want to practice something around zero tolerance for getting yourself involved in toxic rabbit holes, whatever they look like, whether it's listening to the news and it's upsetting you and you're confused by what's real, what's not real. There's a lot of confusion in the world right now because people are listening to different sources for their information. And one thing a lot of people are not doing is listening inward. So if you can just listen to your heart, listen to your intuition, and as an empath, you've got some good intuition going for you. So this is one of those times to pull all your energy back inward, to get centered, to pull everything back inside, just retract it all in and listen to the guidance that's going to be there, because it's not going to be fear-based. It really isn't. I'm not saying you don't have to have awareness of what's right in front of you and what's going on and common sense, but you don't have to jump into a fear thought form and out of your own body. Does that make sense? You don't want to do that. You want to stay in your own space right now and really stay grounded, because that's your power. I hope that answered your question about toxic people, toxic situations. Let's see. Oh, I forgot when I started this and I'm supposed to time them. Let's see. What do we do when others think we are aloof? Somebody was asked if it was natural for them to be intuitive, and this was a very brainy, bright academic type. I feel like there's a lot of subtext in that question. It's sort of not a general question. What I can say is often introverted and empathic people are a little more inward anyway and quieter. And you may be waiting to see if it's wise to speak, if you want to offer your opinion. Often we just hold back. I know it takes a lot. Like, I need somebody to ask me some questions before I do a video, because I don't want to sit here and talk and put it out into the world if nobody needs it, So there's a little bit of a mystery that comes across with an introverted person, and that may appear to be aloof. It probably doesn't matter if somebody thinks you're aloof or not. That's just an opinion. And really, that's just an opinion. So everything you think that's wrong about you in terms of that opinion of aloofness, will you just destroy and uncreate that? Okay, so those are our questions for today. I want to keep these videos short. Thank you for watching. If you need to reach me for a personal session, you know, you can find me at the links below. You can leave me a comment if you want. Thanks for watching.